What's going on, YouTube? My name is Dom, and I don't wear glasses. So anyway, this video was originally intended to actually be a mercenaries video. So on the last video, which you guys gave me tremendous support on, and I am ever so grateful for. Thank you very much. On the video, I asked for some video ideas, what you guys would like to see and everything. And one idea that came up was doing a mercenaries video. So the reason that you guys gave me for wanting to see a mercenaries video review was because one of the ideas that got brought up was that this was going to be some sort of beta or trial for Ghost Recon Breakpoint. They were using this game, adding an update into it for an idea that they maybe wanted to use in Breakpoint, which is actually a really good point. I could definitely see them doing it. They brought John Bernthal in for a mission, right, which directly ties into Breakpoint, so I could see them doing something like that. It makes sense. So I was like, okay, I'll go into Breakpoint. I'll go into Mercenaries. I'll try it. Now, considering that Mercenaries only has 8 players in a match, the same as Ghost War, I found it incredible that while I was searching for matches, there was not 7 other people on the planet playing this fucking game mode. So I couldn't play. I could not find people. You guys also mentioned that Sapper was a class that came out while I was on my hiatus. So let's go ahead and let's polish up the Wildlands tips videos and do one with Sapper. So I'm going to preface this, because this class has been out so long, there's probably not a lot of new information that I can give you. But I'm going to go more in depth with this class than I have with any other class previously. And I came up with a lot of good shit. I found a lot of interesting stuff. And if worse comes to worse, we'll simply have a dialogue about it. But anyway, let's go ahead and let's get started. This is your Wildlands tips videos for Sapper. So, to begin, Sapper carries around 2 frags, 2 C4. He has the TAR-21 and the 9x19 in his arsenal, with 2 variants of those weapons in his back pocket. So he has a TAR-21 Predator and the 9x19 UI, exclamation point, something. Anyway, so he has all that stuff, and then he also has his drone, which has the ability to shoot out saps. I'm going to call them saps because we already have traps and we already have mines. And what he does is not quite similar to either of those. It acts like a mine, looks like a trap. So I'm going to call him saps for the purpose of this video. So basically, he goes up in his drone and he can throw saps down. He can throw his sap down wherever he'd like, and he has 3 that are available to him every drone usage. You can only have 3 out on the map at any given time. Once he shoots these out, they take about 4 or 5 seconds to actually set before that they're active, so before they can be walked over and have somebody burst his sap. And anyway, the main purpose of these is they will suppress people, so it looks a lot like Enforcer. When you actually hit one of these, it looks like you're being shot out by an Enforcer. Can't ADS, your screen gets all fuzzy, you know what I mean. And it also takes out about 20 HP, so it'll take about 5 of these guys to actually kill, a regular 100 HP character. Now, before, when this class first got released, he was the indicator that Ubisoft no longer gave a shit about this game, because the fact that he was introduced the way he was complete bullshit, where he could just throw down these saps whenever he would like, as much as he would like, and the entire field would just be covered in these things, and you couldn't move. Now, they nerfed him, so he's limited to 3, and his saps aren't nearly as devastating. You have to use these things preemptively. You cannot use them to actually shoot at someone that's in position. You have to use them where you think they're going. So that means restocks, revives, and towers. That's it. That's where you use them. And I'll get more, and we'll talk about how to actually play with the class, how I was playing with him at the end of the video. Now let's get into the guns. And this is where shit gets a little funky, and it's actually kind of cool and interesting to look at. And I'm sorry if I talk slow. I don't think you guys are stupid. I've talked slow because I have to take my time to articulate what I'm saying and make sure that what I'm saying is getting across in appropriate language. His guns are nothing new. He has the TAR-21 and the 9x19. If you have played this game for more than a week, you understand that those guns are also on the Disruptor and the Tech. And what's most astonishing is they're very similar. They're hardly different at all. The biggest one is going to be between the TAR-21. Now, on the Disruptor, the TAR-21 carries around an angled foregrip with it. On Sapper, it has a horizontal foregrip. So I'm not a gun guy. I don't know how those things are actually supposed to work in real-life combat situations. Hopefully some of the veterans down there can explain and elaborate on that for me. But in this game, the horizontal foregrip is just worse than the angled foregrip. In many ways. When you have the angle foregrip on the Disruptor's TAR-21, and I'll throw up a side-by-side on the actual video so you guys will see exactly what I'm talking about here. The angle foregrip controls recoil a lot better. It's basically just a horizontal pattern. It's very easy to counter when you very easy to counter that recoil. Now when you have the Sapper's horizontal foregrip, it leads to a lot more horizontal recoil. The thing will go up and to the left, up and to the right a lot more often. With the horizontal recoil, it's a lot more unpredictable. Now when you're up close and personal, it does not make that much of a difference. But the farther you go, the more difference it makes. And I'll have a visual up on the screen for this as well. If you have 1 degree of difference between 2 bullets, let's just say, you know, one is the recoil is up and to the right, one is just straight, let's just say. And it's 1 degree of difference, so it's very small. When you are up close within 5 meters, that difference is going to be very minuscule. When you're at 10 meters, it's going to be greater, and when you're at 15 meters, it's going to be greater. And the greater you go over distance, that 1 degree of difference in recoil is going to matter a lot more. So when you're shooting at distance, it's going to matter more. The thing's going to be less accurate at distance, but up close and personal, it really doesn't make that much of a difference. Now, something interesting about the TAR-21 is I also compared the stats. And for the stats, it claims that the Sapper's TAR-21 has greater handling and less accuracy. But to be clear, the accuracy stat is most greatly affected by the sight that you're using, and I made sure that these two weapons had the same exact sight, the Micro T1. Now, on the Sapper, it says that it has less handling, or greater handling. And I wanted to figure out why. Because playing with these two guns, there's nothing that the Sapper's TAR-21 does better than Disruptor's. At least I couldn't tell until I slowed down the footage. Originally I thought it was idle sway that they were referring to, so I compared the idle sway and it's exactly the same. Doesn't matter which gun you're using. Now when it comes to ADS speed, that's where the story's a little bit different. The Sapper's TAR-21 zooms in a little bit quicker. Now when I say a little bit, I mean a little fucking bit. It moves at about 1/15 of a second faster. I had to slow this thing down. I could not catch it with the naked eye. But because that difference is so small, that difference might not even be there at all. It might just be my video editing footage isn't accurate enough to line them up perfectly, so maybe it just looks that way. It's definitely not for sure. But if it is faster, it makes sense because when you look at a sniper, it has very long handle, or it has the worst handling in the game. Then you look at something like a pistol or a submachine gun, has pretty good handling for the game, and there's a big degree in ADS speed in there. Not very noticeable. So the handling really doesn't mean much at all. Basically, the Sapper's TAR-21 is just worse. Now, when it comes to the 9x19, it's exactly the same as the Techs, which I found very surprising because that's an assault weapon on a support class. It is literally a fucking assault weapon on a support class. It's the exact same thing. The recoil is the exact same. The gun handle is the exact same. And I would argue that the Sapper is actually in a better spot because it has the variant for the 9x19, the UY, which is very good. It's a very good gun. I really like the sight. I believe it's the PKAS sight on it. Don't quote me on that. But it looks really good. And I think it makes me more accurate when I play with that gun. Same with the TAR-21 Predator. It feels very good. I forget the name of the sight, but it's the one that you'll find on the ACR for the point man where you can zoom in and out. I like it. It's fun to use. It may not be practical, but it sure as shit is fun, and that's all I care about at this point. Now, something interesting about these guns that I actually never touched on in a previous video was the laser sights. They both have laser sights on them, so I wanted to see if that actually made a difference. So I played at night with them. And let me just tell you, it really makes no difference. It only makes a difference if you ADS in third person, and then you can see the little red dot that's lining up in the middle. But it only happens at about 10 to 15 meters that you can see that red dot, and it doesn't make a difference. When you're ADSing in third person, the crosshairs are all so close together anyway. It's not like you have to guess where the bullet's going to go. You already pretty much know where it's going to go. So it doesn't really make much of a difference. The laser sight isn't that visible. I wish it did something like help with hip fire accuracy or something like that. Would really frickin' cool. And I think they could take better advantage of that in Breakpoint. Hopefully they actually do something with laser sights. Hopefully they do something. But anyway, let's talk about how you play with Sapper. Now, I already talked that you have to use his saps preemptively. You have to use them where you think people are going, not where they are, because it's not going to work. By the time that trap is set, they're going to be gone. By the time that sap is set, they're going to be gone. So you have to use it preemptively. And it can be nice. It can let you know where people are at. It can prevent people from getting revives, or it can just be straight up annoying and you line all 3 of these fuckers up on a restock. And then when the ranger goes for it, that's been bugging the hell out of you, maybe he's low on health, it can kill him. If you line up all 3 on a restock, it can be very good that way. It just increases the amount of reasons to run safety first, people. Please run safety first. And so that's the biggest benefit I see. Otherwise, it just carries around assault weapons and has a drone. So it's basically like a hybrid between a support and an assault. It's not a full-blown assault because it doesn't have the best assault weapons, although it does have assault weapons. And it's not a full-blown support because its ability is not that good. I would rank its ability probably I would say it's probably the worst drone on the support team right now. In terms of abilities, it's probably second worst because you have Diversionist, which his ability is basically null. But the reason you want to run Diversionist is drones because you can't see it. So according to abilities, he's probably second worst. According to overall drone, he's probably the worst. If you're looking for a full-blown support, I would definitely run any other support. But for him, he's fun for close quarters maps where you want to have intel, but you also want to have a gun. I would pick Sapper, and that's where I would go. I would also pick Trapper probably over Sapper as well. They do pretty much the same thing. It's just one shoots him down with the drone, the other shoots it down with you know, pew. And I would say that I would probably take Trapper if I was looking specifically for that ability to trap people and sap people. So anyway, let me know your guys' thoughts down in the comment section below. Please let me know how you guys enjoyed this video and any ideas for future videos as well. I really enjoyed making this one. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will talk to you in the next video.
He's coming out.